Okay, dear venerable brothers, Dhamma friends. So we are going to start the Dhamma discussion in English. Typically, we are conducting this program on Tuesdays around 8:30, but once Bhante Dhammajiva left, so we decided to have this on Thursdays 7:30. So we are going to continue that program, and actually now we are discussing Parayana Vagga, very interesting part and fairly. We can say fairly concise and deep Dhamma is included in this Parayana Vagga. And the Parayana, the term referred to crossing over, going beyond. And basically, the theme of the section is very much like there are various questions asked by a group of Brahmins. Those are actually fairly tamed, fairly restrained people who are themselves teachers. And they are actually the following the lineage of Bavari. They are students of Bavari. Bavari is a very old teacher, about 120 years old, and maintaining a good contact and a wise person. And again, he has 16 students. They themselves have a group of students, a huge gathering. And now he wants to seek the advice from the Buddha, get some help from the Buddha, and so he is sending his students, 16 students, in search of the Buddha and mentioning them about how to recognize the Buddha and what are the marks of that great man, great Lord, and all that seems included in the Veda books. And he was well versed in that, and so he is teaching all that to these other ascetics, and now they are going through the long journey, and ultimately they reach the Buddha, and they search all those marks what his teacher has mentioned, and they found all, and they recognize him as the Lord Buddha. And now they are asking questions through the mind, and Buddha was capable of reading their minds and then answering the questions through words. So this is how the whole thing happens. And we already covered several we already covered several suttas, and now we are going to continue with that. And currently, I think we are on Nanda Manava Pucca. So we already covered last time another one, what's that called, Upasiva Manava Pucca, Upasiva Sutta. And now we are going to cover the Nanda Manava Sutta, Nanda Sutta in short. And let me read the first verse in Pali. Santi loke munayo jana vadanti taidang katansu jnanupapannang no muning vadanti udahu che jivitenupapannang. Santi loke munayo jana vadanti taidang katansu jnanupapannang no muning vadanti udahu che jivitenupapannang. So we will listen to the English translation from Venerable Dhamma Vijita and the Sinhala translation from Venerable Dhamma Alankara. So I invite Venerables to present the translations.
Yes, thank you, Bhante. Excuse me. And this is the page 336 in the Bhikkhu Bodhi translation and commentaries. Page 336, 7, the questions of Nanda. There are munis in the world, so people say, but how is this so? Do they declare one who has knowledge a muni, or one following a particular way of life?
අවසරයි ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ. ආයුෂ්මත් නන්ද මානවක මෙසේ විචාරයි. ලොව්හි ශාස්ත්‍රීයාදී ජනයෝ ආජීවක නිගණ්ඨාදී මුනිහු ඇතැයි කියත්. එය කෙසේද? සමාපatti අභිඥා ඥානෙන් සමූපේත වූවාහු මුනියයි කියද්ද. නොහොත් රූක්ෂ ජීවිතයෙන් සමූපේත වූවහු මුනියයි කියද්ද.
So now the question is based on the Muni. The Muni is a sage who is well dedicated into the spiritual life, and he is not much concerned about the typical household life, but he has fully dedicated himself as a spiritual person, and he's here actually not a mere spiritual person, but he's a fairly accomplished one, a successful spiritual seeker. And who is really a Muni? Who is really this sage? And that is the question asked by Venerable Nanda. So he is asking, there are various people who are mentioning themselves as Munis, as sages, and who is the really a Muni? So why people are mentioning that particular person as a Muni, and what is the exact reason? Are they endowed with a lot of wisdom, or are they going through some ascetic practices, and they are living a kind of a lifestyle which is comparable to the ascetic life? Is it the reason? So likewise, so this Venerable Nanda is asking exact reason why people are calling a particular person a Muni, a sage. Can you repeat that English translation? So then we are fairly confirmed.
There are Munis in the world, so people say, but how is this so? Do they declare one who has knowledge a Muni, or one following a particular way of life?
Yeah. So now let's see what Buddha mentions. Na dittya, na sutiya, na jnanena, munidha nanda kusala vadanti. Visenikatva anigaha nirasa, charanti yete munayoti brumi. Na dittya, na sutiya, na jnanena, munidha nanda kusala vadanti. Visenikatva anigaha nirasa, charanti yete munayoti brumi.
Not by view, nor by learning, nor by knowledge, Nanda, do the skilled here speak of a Muni. They are Munis, I say, who live remote, untroubled, without wishes.
Please repeat, please.
Not by view, nor by learning, nor by knowledge, Nanda, do the skilled here speak of a Muni. They are Munis, I say, who live remote, untroubled, without wishes.
භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්සේ මෙසේ වදාළහ. නන්දේනි, මෙසස්නෙහි ස්කන්ධාදියෙහි හෝ දක්ෂයෝ දෘෂ්ටියෙන්, ශ්‍රුතයෙන්, ඥානයෙන් මුනියයි නොකියත්. යම් කෙනෙක් කෙලෙස් සෙනග නසා රාගාදී ව්‍යසන රහිතව නිරාශව හැසිරෙත් නම් ඔහු මුනිහු යයි මම කියමි.
Now the answer is quite in a way deep. So na dittya. So that means not by mere view. Na sutiya, not by mere knowledge. And knowledge in that sense, here the book knowledge of the how he has learned some amount of, we can say the book knowledge. He has heard a lot. And then na jnanena, not merely by the wisdom even. That I am not, the people who are skilled, they say he is a Muni. But if one is able to abandon all the fetters, abandon all the defilements, or say nirasa, all the desires, and aniga, there is no any kind of suffering, and so they are the ones I would say a Muni. Now, so Buddha's answer actually takes us to a different dimension. So there are people who are holding different views. So they declare, okay, this is my view, this is my understanding, or this is what is the truth. So they declare like that. So there are many followers once they declare something like that. So there seems to be some followers agreeing to that their view, their understanding, and they start venerating them and respecting them and keeping them as the teacher. So those things are very common. Different teachers are popping up, coming up. They have their own ideas, they have their own views, maybe about the world, maybe about spirituality. So likewise, there are different teachers, different people who are talking of different views. But Buddha says, not by mere views that I would say he is a Muni. And then there are people who are Sutiya. So that means they have a lot of knowledge. They know various subjects. They know maybe about the spirituality. They know very many things about the world systems, and maybe about the geological stuff, maybe climates, about the, say, planets. Many huge knowledge is there about many things. and even about their afterlife things or before life situations. So they have a lot of knowledge. They have gathered a lot of knowledge. And they also say, I'm the great person, I'm the, omniscient person. So they can declare themselves like that. But Buddha say, but mere knowledge is not a parameter, not the only parameter that I would say, I would declare him as a Muni. And then wisdom. So that's the difficult part. So people may have wisdom. So how one may acquire wisdom, and what is the path they have used, what is the result of wisdom, and these are other things that we need to concern. So people, how we can decide that one is a wise person. So that is also actually asked by someone in another occasion. So who is the real Pandita? Who is the real wise person? That's a separate theme, by the way. But anyway, Buddha here mentioned, not by even mere wisdom that one would say he is a Muni. So now these are very important parameters, by the way. View, knowledge, and the wisdom. Mere these parameters cannot define a person as a Muni. Now we'll see, and now Buddha's emphasis is given for the abandonment of the defilements, abandonment of the craving. So if one is able to abandon completely the craving, defilements, and so that his mind become very pleasant, say free from any defilements, and calm, relax, free from any kind of a ill will, anigha. So then I would say he is the Muni. So you can repeat the translation, please.
Yes, Swaminatha. Not by view, nor by learning, nor by knowledge.
Nor by knowledge. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nanda, do the skilled here speak of a Muni? They are Munis, I say, who live remote, untroubled, without wishes.
Without wishes, untroubled, anigaha, without wishes, nirasa. And actually Bhikkhu Bodhi translates jnanena as the knowledge, sutiya as the learning. So I think that would be better. We would take the same translation, where ditya is a mere view, and then the sutiya is where they have gathered a lot of knowledge by learning. Jnanena is another dimension where they have a lot of knowledge. They have heard something, that is the sutiya, the learning part. Jnanena is also actually very related if we take it in that sense. Sutiya and Jnanena are very close in that sense. So one has learned, the other one has the knowledge. I felt it may be the wisdom, but wisdom typically talks about a positive side. So now in the Buddhist perspective, people are talking about the penetrative wisdom. So that is more advanced one, or more praised, or more positively talked one, where one is developing mindfulness and maybe certain amount of concentration, and with that they are able to have a penetrative knowledge, seeing things as they truly are, by going through a thorough investigation about many phenomena, different domains of phenomena, maybe the material world, maybe the immaterial world. The whole investigation is done. As a result of that, he gets thorough understanding. So that is a penetrative wisdom. So that may cause oneself to abandon all cravings. So if we consider the Buddha's teaching, so his path is very much like that. It is not mere by book knowledge. It is not merely by hearing, learning. Rather, you need to develop certain amount of mindfulness. You need to develop certain amount of concentration. And using those, you have to maintain the proper balance. That's the effort, has to be well balanced. And now you are applying all that skills to understand how things are happening, how, say, material phenomena are happening, how various feelings are happening, and how various perceptions are happening, and how different thoughts, imaginations, or whatever the mental landscape is happening, how things are basically happening inside ourselves, the mental side. So by looking at all that, So basically one starts penetrating all that and abandoning whatever the desires, and ultimately his mind becomes free. So that knowledge is fairly praised by the Buddha, what we typically call as a yathabhuta jnana dassana, seeing things as they truly are. So if one is able to see things as they truly are, so that helps to have a detached perspective, that helps to have a detached attitude towards everything. So he is no more interested much about whatever the material things and the whatever has say houses and vehicles, husband, wife, children, and many things. So he is somewhat detached because he has penetrated it. He has penetrated the whole, say, conventional world. He has penetrated the whole material world. So he don't find it much worthy of holding that. He don't find it much worthy of attaching to that. Rather, he understands its fruitless, or say, fleeting nature and the impermanent nature, inconstant nature of all that material phenomena. So as a result of that, his mind slowly abandons it, let it go, rather than attaching to it. So ultimately his mind becomes desireless. He has no desires, even to the material world and even to the immaterial world. He is no more concerned attaching or holding to various views, no more attaching to or holding to various perceptions or various thoughts, so that he understands they are coming and going, they are fleeting. So he abandoned all that. So his mind is now fairly emancipated or freed. So that is where Buddha emphasizes. So we'll see the next verse. Yekechi me samana brahmanase dittena sutena vadanti suddhing sīlabbhatena vadanti suddhing aneka rupena vadanti suddhing kachissu te bhagava tattha yatha charanta ataru jatincha jarancha marisa puccamitam bhagava bruhi metam yekechi me samana brahmanase dittena sutena vadanti suddhing sīlabbhatena vadanti suddhing aneka rupena vadanti suddhing kachissu te bhagava tattha yatha charanta ataru jatincha jarancha marisa puccamitam bhagava bruhi metam. So we'll listen to the translations.
Those ascetics and Brahmins who say that purity is gained through the seen and heard. The purity is gained, too, by good behavior and observances. Who say purity is gained through numerous methods, living restrained. There, Blessed One, have they crossed over birth and old age, dear sir? I ask you, O Blessed One, please answer me.
Yeah, please repeat.
Yes. Yes, Bhante. Those ascetics and Brahmins who say that purity is gained through the seen and heard, that purity is gained, too, by good behavior and observances, who say purity is gained through numerous methods, living restrained. There, so living restrained there, Blessed One, have they crossed over birth and old age, dear sir? I ask you, Blessed One, please answer me.
ආයුෂ්මත් නන්දමානවක මෙසේ විචාරයි. භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්ස යම්කිසි මහණ බමුණු කෙනෙක් දෘෂ්ටියෙනුදු ශ්‍රුතයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියත්නම් ශ්‍රීල වුතේනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියත්නම් අනේකවිධ කෝතුහල මංගලයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියත්නම් නිදුකානන් වහන්ස කිම ඒ දෘෂ්ටියෙහි ගුප්තව වෙසෙන්නාහු ජාතියත් ජරාවත් තරණය කළාහුද භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්ස මුඹ වහන්සේ පුළුවුස්මි තෙල කරුණ වදාළ මැනවි.
ආයස්ම චුට්ටක් අර අන්තිම වාක්‍ය දෙක කියන්න.
ඒ දෘෂ්ටි ගතිකයෝ ඒ දෘෂ්ටියෙහි ගුප්තව වෙසෙන්නාහු ජාතියත් ජරාවත් තරණය කළාහුද භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්ස මුඹ වහන්සේ පුළුවුස්මි තෙල කරුණ වදාළ මැනවි.
So basically now this Venerable Nanda is summarizing. So he has seen that many people are emphasizing or showing off themselves as a Muni. So I am a sage, I am a sage. So likewise, they are talking themselves, and sometimes they are highlighting their view. So I have this time kind of a view, so this is my view, so I am a sage. And sutenapi, and then so they have gathered a lot of learning, and they have gone through a lot of learning, and on those days, particularly about the Vedas, and they have gone through that. So as a result of that, they say, it's okay, I have become purified. I am pure now. So now this Venerable Nanda is asking from the Buddha, so is it possible to accept this, how they declare? So they may have a view, or they may have a lot of gathered learning. So can they say that they have purified themselves? And then another person, Silabbatenapi Vadanti Suddhing. So they have gone through a lot of ascetic practices, various rituals, various observances. And after going through that, they say, okay, I have become purified. Now they declare themselves as munis, as sages. Can we accept that? Aneka Rupena Vadanti Suddhing. And there are various other things like, say they have gone through some, how to say, now Ditta Mangalika, Sutta Mangalika, those are other areas where sometimes people say, they think, okay, if I see something auspicious, so that then I went through a kind of purification. If I heard a kind of a news, a message, a holy message, after hearing that, I went through a purification. So there are people like that. So there are such different possibilities telling, okay, I have gone through such a very marvelous kind of a teaching, I have heard it, I got that message from a divine source. So as a result of that, I am now a pure person. Or I have gone through a kind of ritual. Since that ritual has made me purified, so I am a pure person now. So some people are believing actually now, even if you go today to India, so people are there who immersed in water, particularly in the Ganges river, and after going through that for many years, and slowly they say they are purifying themselves by abandoning all the wrongdoings and abandoning all the whatever the fetters they have. And after going through that ritual, they say, okay, I am now a pure person. Because I went through that immersing to water for many years. I have completed that ritual. So people are believing all that. And so, as a result of that, now they are declaring themselves as munis. Now, Kachissu te bhagava tatta yatha charanta ataru jatincha jarancha marisa. Now, can you, Venerable Sir, now he's asking from the Buddha, can you, Venerable Sir, tell me whether they have really crossed over the, birth and death? Have they really crossed over? Are they really pure people? Now, Buddha is answering like this. Yekechi me samana brahmanase dittena sutenapi vadanti suddhing. Silabbatenapi vadanti suddhing aneka rupena vadanti suddhing. Kinchapi te tatta yatha vadanti na tarinsu jati jaranti brumi. Na tarinsu. Yekechi me samana brahmanase dittena sutenapi vadanti suddhing. Silabbatenapi vadanti suddhing aneka rupena vadanti suddhing. Kinchapi te tatta yatha vadanti na tarinsu jati jaranti brumi. So we listen to the translations.
Those ascetics and Brahmins who say that purity is gained through the seen and heard, that purity is gained, too, by good behavior and observances, who say purity is gained through numerous methods, though they live restrained there, I say they have not crossed over birth and old age.
භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්සේ මෙසේ වදාළහ. නන්දේනි, මේ යම් කිසි මහණ බමුණු කෙනෙක් දෘෂ්ටියෙනුදු, ශ්‍රුතයෙනුදු, ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම්, ශ්‍රීල බුතයෙනුදු, ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම්, අනේකවිධ කෝතුහල මංගලයෙනුදු, ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම්, වැලිත් ඔහු ඒ දෘෂ්ටියෙහි ගුප්තව වෙසෙත් නම්, ඔහු ජාතිය හා ජරාව හා තරණය නොකළහයි කියමි.
I can totally.
භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්සේ මෙසේ වදාළහ. නන්දේනි, මේ යම්කිසි මහණ බමුණු කෙනෙක් දෘෂ්ටියෙනුදු, ශ්‍රුතයෙනුදු, ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම්, ශ්‍රීල වුතයෙනුදු, ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම්, අනේක විද කෝතුහල මංගලයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියත් නම් වැලිත් ඔහු ඒ දෘෂ්ටියෙහි ගුප්තව වෙසෙත් නම් ඔහු ජාතිය හා ජරාව හා තරණය නොකළහයි කියමි.
Yeah, so Buddha denies basically his question, telling that no, they are not really crossover. So they may declare themselves as sages, thinking that they are fully purified by mere view or by some sort of rituals, maybe a kind of an observance, or maybe other kind of ascetic practice. By going through that, they may declare themselves as, now I have purified, but not really. They haven't really purified themselves. They haven't crossed over. They haven't crossed the birth and death. So that is the answer given by the Buddha. And now Venerable Nanda further asking, Yekechi me samana brahmanase dittena sutenapi vadanti suddhing සීලබ්බතේනාපි වදන්ති සුද්ධින් අනේක රූපේන වදන්ති සුද්ධින් තේච මුනි බ්‍රූසි අනෝගතින්නෝ අතකෝ චරහි දේව මනුස්ස ලෝකේ අතාරි ජාතිංච ජරංච මාරිස පුච්චාමි තම් භගවා බ්‍රූහි මේතං. So two verses actually. ඒකේචි මේ සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනාසේ දිත්තේන සුතේනාපි වදන්ති සුද්ධින් සීලබ්බතේනාපි වදන්ති සුද්ධින් අනේක රූපේන වදන්ති සුද්ධින් තේචේ මුනි බ්‍රූසි අනෝගතින්නෝ අතකෝ චරහි දේව මනුස්ස ලෝකේ අතාරි ජාතිච්ච ජරංච මාරිස පුච්චාමි තම් භගවා බ්‍රූහි මේතං. Yeah, we'll listen to the translations.
Those ascetics and Brahmins who say that purity is gained through the seen and heard, that purity is gained too by good behavior and observances, who say purity is gained through numerous methods, if, O Muni, you say they have not crossed over the flood, then who in the world of devas and humans has crossed over birth and old age, dear sir? I ask you, O Blessed One, please answer me.
ආයුෂ්මත් නන්දමානවක මෙසේ විචාරයි. භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්ස මේ යම් කිසි මහණ බමුණු කෙනෙක් දෘෂ්ටියෙනුදු ශ්‍රුතයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියද්ද ශ්‍රීල වුතයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියද්ද අනේක විද කෝතුහල මංගලයෙනුදු ශුද්ධිය කියද්ද මුනීන්ද්‍රයන් වහන්ස ඉඳින් ඒ දෘෂ්ටි ගතිකයන් ඕගතරණය නොකලහුන්නේ වදාරණසේක් නම් නිදුකානන් වහන්ස එසේවත්ම දෙවුල් මිනිස් ලෝහි කවර කෙනෙක් ජාතියත් ජරාවත් තරණය කළාහුද භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්ස මුඹ වහන්සේ පුළුවුස්මි තෙල කරුණ වදාළ මැනවි.
Now when Buddha denies, so now Venerable Nanda further asking, now you are telling by mere views, if someone is declaring themselves as a Muni, that he may not Muni. Probably you are saying if they have gone through certain observances and if they declare themselves have purified, but still you say he is not really purified. And further, various other ascetic practices are there, they have followed them, and now they declare themselves as a Muni, but you say he is not really purified. Now please let me know, then who is the real purified one in this whole world, this with the devas and the the people, in the humans. So among these whole beings, who is really the purified one? Please let me know. Who is crossed over to this the birth and the death? Now Buddha is answering like this. Nahan sabbe samana brahmanase jati jaraya niyutati brumi. Yesuda dittang va sutang mutang va silabbatang vapi pahaya sabbang. Aneka rupampi pahaya sabbang tanham parinyaya anasavase. Teve nara oga tinnati brumi. Nahan sabbe samana brahmanase jati jaraya niyutati brumi. Yesuda dittang va sutang mutang va silabbatang vapi pahaya sabbang. Aneka rupampi pahaya sabbang tanham parinyaya anasavase teve nara oga tinnati brumi. So we'll listen to the translations.
I do not say of all ascetics and Brahmins that they are shrouded by birth and old age. Those here who have abandoned the seen, the heard, and sensed, and all good behavior and observances, who have abandoned to everything in numerous kinds, who have fully understood craving, are without influxes. Those, I say, are persons who have crossed the flood.
Please repeat.
I do not say of all ascetics and Brahmins that they are shrouded by birth and old age. Those here who have abandoned the seen, the heard, and sensed, and all good behaviors and observances, who have abandoned too everything of numerous kinds, who have fully understood craving, are without influxes. Those, I say, are persons who have crossed the flood.
භාග්‍යවතුන් වහන්සේ මෙසේ වදාළසේක. නන්දයනි, මම හැම මහණ බමුණෝ ජාති ජරා විසින් අවුරණ ලදහයි නොකියමි. මේ ලෝහි යම් කෙනෙක් හැම දෘෂ්ටි ශුද්ධියද, ශුත ශුද්ධියද, මුත ශුද්ධියද, ශ්‍රීලමුත ශුද්ධියද හැරපියා හැම අනේකවිධ කෝතුහල මංගල ශුද්ධියද හැරපියා තෘෂ්ණාව පිරිසිඳ දැන අනාශ්‍රව වූහුද ඒ පුද්ගලයෝ එකතින් ඕගතරණය කළහයි කියමි.
So Buddha's answer again takes back us to the second verse, where he is emphasizing about the abandoning of the defilements, abandonment of the craving. So he repeats it like this here. Nahan sabbe sabana brahmanase jati jarai nutati brumi. So I am not telling that all haven't crossed over to the other shore, that none of them have enlightened, but basically the ones who have abandoned various views, and they have heard it through the ears, they have seen something through the eyes, and they have cognized it through the mind, but they have abandoned all that views. And silabbatang vapi pahaya sabbang, various rituals also they have abandoned. And then various other ascetic practices also they have abandoned. And by abandoning everything, so basically they have recognized all different kinds of craving, thoroughly understood the craving, their operations, their activities, and so now they have abandoned all cravings and they have become free from influxes. So they are the ones really cross over to the other shore. They are the ones who abandon the floods, the Kama Oga, Bhava Oga, Dittha Oga, Avijja Oga. The four kinds of floods are there, typically mentioned in the Dhamma. So the one who has crossed over has to abandon the different kinds of craving. Now the craving. Now here Tanham Parinyaya. So Tanham Parinyaya means that they have completely understood about various activities or various manifestations of the craving. So different categories of craving are explained. So one thing is the Kama Tanha, so the sensual desires. Second thing is called Bhava Tanha, the desire to become, desire to manifest, desire to exist. And then the Vibhava Tanha, the desire to get rid of, so to non-exist. So these are the three categories of craving. Now Tanham Parinyaya means so he has thoroughly understood all the workings of the craving. And you know that Buddha explains about the craving. What is Tanha? Pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata tatra tatrabi nandini sayyati dang kama tanha bhava tanha vibhava tanha. So pono bhavika. So basically, so the craving has the capacity to make us to another state, take us to another state. So we are assumed that you are in a present moment, but you are not satisfied there, but you are wishing to become someone else, wishing to take your mind to a different state. You are not fully satisfied in this moment. You are not fully presently satisfied with the present moment. Rather, mind has an inclination towards a future event, about a future moment. And so you are now connecting all that. Previous event and the present event, maybe a future event. Now you are even connecting those three events, and you get the wrong perception that I am living, I am here, I am so and so. So this is my life. So pono bhavika. No, again and again. So we are living into a new event. We are living into a new incident. Something like that. Nandiraga sagata. Now your mind get attached to something, and while being there, you feel delighted. Some kind of an event is there. You are participating into that. You are attending to that. You are experiencing that, and you feel delighted. Nandiraga sagata. Tatra tatrabi nandani. So you are being happy then and there. There's an event, your mind is there, you attach to that, you are happy. There's a beautiful sight, you look into that, you attach to that, you are happy. There's a beautiful song, you attach to that, you are happy. There's a beautiful flower, you attach to that, you are happy. Maybe a tasty food, you are eating that, attached to that, you are happy. Maybe a very good, sensation, you are attached to that, you are happy. So then and there. So we are going through all that through during a day. So various events are happening, various incidents are happening here and there, then and there. So we attach to that and we become delighted. We attach to that and we become delighted. Now if you recognize how our mind's behaving, so we are going after these pleasures, isn't it? We are looking forward to these pleasurable moments. So I am feeling bored, I am unhappy, so let me have something. Let me have a beer. Let me have sex. Okay, let me have kind of an entertainment. Let me look into the TV. Let me look into the musical show. Let me go for some walk. I'm bored. I feel unhappy. So let me have something. So I want to be happy. So we are going after various pleasures, following the pleasure principle, and basically then and there we are delighted by that sensation. Maybe through the eyes we see something and we feel delighted. Through the ears we are listening and there we are delighted. Through the nose we experience some kind of an odor, we are delighted. Through the tongue we are experiencing certain taste, we are delighted. And maybe through the body we are experiencing certain sensations and we are delighted. And if not, we are thinking something and we are delighted. So we always are looking forward to get delighted. So that delight has certain amount of craving involved, and mind get attached. You are immersed in that, you are holding that, you are clinging to that, and you are there. You are fully there, fully in the sense you have become someone, and then you are delighted. So this is different. I mean, so basically here attach and get delighted. You become that and get delighted. You become someone and then get delighted. Say for example, say you have a desire to enjoy some music, and now you gather maybe a collection of music CDs, or you yourself visit a musical band or show or whatever, and you are presently there, and now you are enjoying the lot of music and you are fully in that world. So they give us a lot of entertainment, and we are fully there, fully involved there, engulfed there, attached there, and we are completely in a different world. We don't know where we are. So they are singing, they are dancing, and we are clapping and making a lot of noise, and full kind of a dramatic event is there. So we are fully delighted there, isn't it? Say you are going to a very good hotel. So they serve various things. So we are delighted with this, we are eating that, we are drinking that, we are eating that, we are ordering some more, and we are fully immersed in it. Completely gratifying the senses. By gratifying the senses, we can become delighted. So that is what typically people are doing. So this is the function of the craving. We are promoting craving. We are further developing defilements. So Buddha say, so one is thoroughly understand this whole operation happen within oneself. How one is getting delighted. How one is always looking forward to this kind of an events in one's life, in search of happiness, in search of, rather than saying happiness, we can say in search of sensual desires, in search of sensual pleasures. So we are going after one after the other sensual pleasures, and we are trying to find out some happiness, some pleasure. And tanham pariññāya. Now, when one has thoroughly understood the operations or the workings of this craving, Now he slowly become disillusioned about it. He become not interested about it. He understand, okay, internally there's a problem. Even though I am trying to fulfill all that desire, still another day, maybe tomorrow, still I feel unhappy. Still I want some more. Again I want to eat, again I want to dance, again I want to sing, again I want to see a musical show, again I want to see a movie, again I want to see a drama, again I want to see some sports, some kind of an entertainment. Okay, you are done that. Day after tomorrow, again you need. So there is no end. By simply gratifying senses, by simply fulfilling the desires, you are not going to finish it. You are not going to end it. So Buddha say, okay, how about recognizing these desires and abandoning the desires? Rather than fulfilling the desire, how about recognizing the desire and abandoning it, dropping it, letting it go? So different methodology he is coming out. So rather than there's a fulfilling of the desire, satisfying the desire, you recognize the desire as a desire and let it go, let it fade away. I don't want the desire. So when one is going through that, so then you are slowly, not promoting the desires, you are not enhancing the desires, reinforcing the desires, and desires started fading away. Now you get less desires. You have less desires about seeing musical shows. You have less desires of participating into parties. You have less desires of maybe attending to various events, maybe gatherings, maybe barbecue parties, whatever, that carnival. So what people are using to gratify themselves. But now you have less desires to participate. Being alone, you are happy, isn't it? Do you want to participate? So basically, being alone, you still don't feel lonely, isn't it? You don't feel lonely, you are happy. Being alone, you feel happy. I don't want this satisfaction coming through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body. Being alone, I am satisfied. I feel like I have everything. I am fulfilled. By abandoning desires, so you feel fulfilled. You feel complete. So this is a different way of approach. So rather than satisfying desires, now you have abandoned the desires. Now you have no desire. No desire means you have almost like satisfied all the desires. Because you have satisfied, so there is no desire to satisfy further. Something like that. So no more desires are coming up from you. You are completely quenched. There is no thirst. There is no further requirement coming in. There is no yearning coming in. Asking this, asking that, demands coming from within. You feel calm. You feel relaxed. You feel free from any thirst. So that means that is where the influxes are abandoned. So the influxes are the ones, basically time to time, when we see something, if the influxes are internally available, so they become active and they start asking, okay, I want this. When there's a music, so if there are influxes, so they become active and they are asking, okay, I want that. Yeah. Asavas, Kamasava, Bhavasava, Dittasava, Avijjasava. Kamasava, Bhavasava, Dittasava, Avijjasava. You know that Kamasava means that, say, now we have the sensual desire. So sensual desire manifest as, okay, I want to see something. I want to see a movie. I want to enjoy some music. I want to enjoy some, say, a coffee, a drink. So, I mean, the sensual gratification is how it is manifesting. But internally, whatever internally available is the influx, is the asava. So that desire was there for long time. And now it has become one of the characteristic of the mind. So the asava has different meanings. So one meaning is that all these different defilements are there in the mind for long time. So they being there for long time, now they have become part of the mind, very much like. Previously, assume that previously they were not. But you are being there for long time, associating the mind. Now all the characteristics, qualities of the influxes have somewhat transferred to the mind. So mind itself is having that certain colors, certain conditioning coming from these defilements. You know that there's a Ayurvedic medicine. What they do, so they put a lot of medicine, say various maybe roots, maybe other sources, and put it to water, and they bind the whole thing and keep it for a long time. What happened after several years? Exactly. Single something, and now that water has all the medicinal qualities, isn't it? Because it is there for long time, so now it has that quality, medicinal quality. How about the alcohol? Same thing, right? Fermentation. The fermentation happens the same way. So they keep whatever the yeast and whatever the ingredients for a long time, it become fermented, isn't it? Fermentation, fermentation, and now it becomes alcohol. The same meaning is there. So defilements are there in the mind for long time. Now the mind become impure because of those. But originally mind is a pure thing. But since these defilements being there for long time, now the mind also has conditioned by these defilements. So currently probably we don't have lust, but the potential is there in the future to arise lust. Currently we don't have hate, but the potential is there that in the future we can become angry. So likewise, even though the present moment the mind is pure, it doesn't say we are completely pure until we are able to address all the influxes, until we are able to abandon all the influxes. So that's why the Arahant is called the Khinasava. Khinasava means the one who has completely uprooted all the influxes. So we have to address the influxes. So the whole theme of the second sutta in Majjhima Nikaya is about the influxes. Sabbasava Sutta, the second sermon of the Majjhima Nikaya, talks about the influxes. So there are various methods Buddha explained in the Sabbasava Sutta, how to abandon the defilements, abandon the asavas. Not by one method, by the way. Different methods are there. So you have to restrain yourself. You have to practice the Dhamma. You have to have the Yoniso Manasikara, the wise reflection. And you need to associate good friends, good people, maybe another thing. And when defilements are there, you don't need to cultivate them further. You need to abandon them as quickly as possible, so that your mind feeling pure, maintain pure as much as possible. And so likewise, Sangvara Pahadabba, and when you are using whatever the requisites, you have to use proper reflections so that you are not promoting any kind of defilements. So likewise, as much as possible, you are keeping away the defilements. By various practices, and sometimes even through the patience, you're not allowing the defilements to come out. Say, for example, someone come here and start making a noise. Suppose it is impossible to stop it, then we have to bear it. If I get angry, then I am promoting a defilement. But if I understand, okay, it is impossible for me to overcome that, then I become quiet, I become little patient, so that I am not promoting any defilements. So likewise, patience is another method. So likewise, 7 methods I think explained there. So how to overcome the influxes. So the one who has thoroughly understood the workings of the craving and ultimately abandon all the influxes is the complete sage, the Arahant. So that is the answer that Buddha is giving. So we'll see what else is there in this verse. Now Venerable Nanda is telling like this: Etahi nandami vacho mahesino sukittitang gotamang nupadhikang yesudha dittangva sutang mutangva silabbatangva pipahaya sabbang aneka rupam pipahaya sabbang tanham parinyaya anasavase Ahampi te ve oga tinnati brumiti.
I delight in this word of the great Rishi. Well proclaimed, O Gautama, is the state without acquisitions. Those here who have abandoned the seen, heard, and sensed, as well as all good behaviors and observances, who have abandoned, too, everything of numerous kinds, who have fully understood craving, are without influxes.
Please repeat.
Who have fully understood craving are without influxes. I too say they have crossed the flood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want?
Okay, yeah, fine.
ආයුෂ්මත් නන්දමානවක මෙසේ කියයි. මහර්ෂි වූ මුඹ වහන්සේගේ තෙල භාෂිතය මම සතුටින් පිළිගනිමි. ගෞතමයන් වහන්ස උපදිරහිත වූ නිවන මොනවට ප්‍රකට කරන ලදය. මේ ලෝහි යම් කෙනෙක් හැම දෘෂ්ටි ශුද්ධියද ශුත ශුද්ධියද මුත ශුද්ධියද ශ්‍රීලවුත ශුද්ධියද හැරපියා අනේක විද වූ හැම කෝතුහල මංගල ශුද්ධියද හැරපියා ත්‍රිවිධ පරිඥායෙන් තෘෂ්ණාව පිරිසිඳ දැන අනාශ්‍රව වූහු නම් මමද ඔහු ඕගතරණය කළහයි කියමි.
So now Venerable Nanda accept Buddha's answer, and he also say, the one who has abandoned the influxes, who has thoroughly understood the workings of the craving, and as a result of that, he was able to cross over the floods. So I also now say he is the real sage, real Muni. And so he is not merely a Muni because he has seen something or heard something or has certain kind of gone through certain kind of rituals and various other ascetic practices. I don't also now say that they are the real sages, but the ones who has thoroughly understood the workings of the craving and abandoned all the influxes, he is the real sage. Now he too accepts. Now basically there is a another sutta I like to make your attention. So that is actually the Magandhya Sutta in the Attaka Nipata. Can you check that sutta? The Sutta Nipata, Magandhya Sutta, Attaka Nipata. It's in the Attaka Nipata 4th or 9th. There are also some similar question is asked by Magandhya. Attaka Nipata, Hamunad. Yes, Magandhya Sutta. Can you turn it to that? Found? Attaka, octet, Magandhya. To Magandhya? Yeah. So they are actually, when this Magandhya asks some question, to him Buddha mentioned, na dittya, na sutya, na jnane, na silabbatena, pi na suddhimaha, adittya, asutya, ajnana, asilata, abbata, nopi tena. Etecha nissajja anuggahaya, santo anissaya bhavang na jappe. So a kind of a contradicting, or we can say a different way Buddha is turning Venerable Magandhya's attention. So there he mentioned not merely by a view, not merely by a hearing, a learning, and not merely by a knowledge, and not even through the ascetic practice, but also not by completely avoiding a view, completely avoiding some learning, completely avoiding any kind of knowledge, and completely avoiding any kind of ascetic practice, that I would say it is possible to become pure. Now you can see kind of a contradiction is there. Buddha is denying mere view, mere learning, mere knowledge, and mere ascetic practices. Buddha denies. On the other hand, he said, if you don't take them at all, that is also impossible for one to become pure. Can you repeat? Can you recognize that? You found that verse? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Not by view, nor by learning, nor by knowledge, nor do I speak of purity through good behavior and observances, but neither without view, without learning, without knowledge, without good behavior, without observances, not in that way. But having relinquished these, not grasping any of them, peaceful, not dependent, one should not hanker for existence.
Yeah. Can you see some contradiction there? Now here in the verses that we just learned, in the Nanda, so basically we deny, okay, mere view is not good. Mere learning is not good. Mere knowledge is not good. Mere rituals, ascetic practices, observances, not good. And in this verse Buddha say, but without it also not possible. So you need certain amount of learning, you need certain amount of views, certain amount of wisdom, certain amount of rituals, observance. That is also necessary. So that is why one occasion actually Venerable Ananda is questioned by the Buddha, can you say all the observances are making oneself purified? All the observances, all the rituals, is everything good? What do you think?
If we do all the observances, observe all things, if we're not doing so mindfully and with correct understanding, then it doesn't purify us.
Purify us. Okay, that's a good answer also. So Venerable Ananda also give a kind of not an absolute answer. If certain rituals, observances are helping us to develop good qualities, maybe mindfulness, maybe wisdom, maybe understanding, so that is the wholesome factors. If certain rituals, observances are causing, they are promoting, they are helpful to promote wholesome side in ourselves, then they are better to follow. But certain rituals, certain observances, rituals, by following them, if we understand, okay, certain unwholesome qualities are improving, the wholesome qualities are, decreasing, then we should not follow them. So we need to decide a particular ritual, particular observance is good or bad depending on their result. By following it for a long time, if I feel, okay, this ritual, this observance has helped me a lot to develop some, mindfulness in myself, maybe some faith in myself, maybe good energy in myself, maybe some wisdom in myself. So likewise, the wholesome factors are improving as a result of a particular ritual, because of a particular observance, better follow it, because it is helpful. On the other hand, there may be certain other rituals, they are not giving any kind of such benefit, then I better abandon it. So that's why the observances and rituals all depends on how it is influencing ourselves to develop the wholesome qualities. So that is the criterion for us to decide. So that is mentioned, that is one thing. And on the other hand, you need certain amount of view for you to continue in the Sammaditthi, the proper view. So therefore Buddha mentioned about the one mundane kind of Sammaditthi. That you want to become a good person first. You want to abandon what is unwholesome. So you should not start. You need to abandon killing. You need to abandon stealing. You need to abandon sexual misconduct. So likewise, you start believing in karma, trusting in karma, and you first have to become a good person, a good living person, and then you can think of even a supramundane side. Once you are more emphasized in the group supramundane side, you are abandoning everything. True. So that is where you are coming to a higher level, that even a particular view is not something that you need to hold. Even a view that you need to abandon. So your mind has to be fairly cleansed, fairly lighter, not grasping anything at all. That is actually at the supramundane level. But at the beginning, you need to certainly recognize what is good and what is bad. And so that you are restraining yourself by abandoning bad and practicing the good. So that is the Kammasakata Sammaditthi, where your attitude, your view, your activities are based on the correct side, the correct view. So therefore, certain amount of view is necessary at the beginning. Ultimately, you are abandoning everything. That's true. And on the other hand, certain rituals are necessary so that you are improving your good qualities. Say faith. Say, for example, we are doing the chanting. That's also a ritual, isn't it? And we are venerating monks. That's also a ritual. So likewise, various rituals are there, certain customs are there even in the Buddhist practice. And we need to understand why they are there and what is the benefit. And accordingly, if we are practicing them, then it would be more beneficial, so that we know what is exactly they are meant and how they are, helping us to develop certain good qualities. So then we are following it. So likewise, it is complete abandonment of views, complete abandonment of the learning, complete abandonment of the knowledge, complete abandonment of rituals, observances is also not the case, but certain amount of them is required. You are using them effectively, thoroughly, or rather skillfully, and ultimately once you are purified, you don't need anything, something like that. So that is what highlighted in the Māgandhya Sutta. So Buddha's answer is therefore in the Māgandhya Sutta help us also to understand the current sutta, the Nanda Sutta. Sure.
So in that verse that I just read, it says, not by view, not by learning, nor by knowledge, nor do I speak of purity through good behavior and observances, but neither without view, without learning, without knowledge, without good behavior, without observances, not in that way, but having relinquished these, not grasping of them, peaceful, not dependent, one should not hanker for existence. So, excuse me, Bhante, I wondered, it seems as though he could be saying, so if these other ascetics in India were clinging to observances and learning and knowledge and good behavior and saying, this is purifying me, and that's not a correct view. If they're not fully relinquishing all defilements and not coming to the relinquishment of grasping, if they're not reaching that state, then those observances and learnings and knowledge isn't cleansing them. It's not removing defilement completely. But at the same time, and the Buddha would say, I guess, also that then, you have to let go of all these observances and, don't believe that they're going to purify you. But at the same time, if we get rid of all the learning and observances, that also doesn't purify us. That's a wrong idea, that it's more that we are not clinging to the observances or believing that they're going to cleanse us or something.
So now even say the sila, the observances what we are going through, the sila, the morality. So the morality also sometimes people grasp. So that's why it's called silabbata paramasa. Silabbata paramasa means that one is to adhere to the sila, too much hold in the sila, and they are so concerned about it, and sometimes so they even burn that even little thing has happened, or I have made a really bad thing, I have no escape, I'm a real bad person, so they curse in themselves. So that is, they are going to the another extreme. So the way that one is become well balanced is only happening when one become a stream winner. That is, there are three fetters: sakkaya ditti, vicikicca, silabbata paramasa. Sakkaya ditti, the self personality view; vicikicca, the doubt; silabbata paramasa is the adhering to observances and rituals. So those three are abandoned only when one becomes a stream winner. So that is where he found the path. That is only when he understood the proper balance. Till that, even the proper thing we may grasp, even the proper thing. Now, say for example, we need to adhere to certain rules and regulations. We need to adhere to certain good practices. True. But sometimes we don't know the limit, and sometimes we take them so serious. Every time, have you let a lot of doubts. Have I made a little mistake? Have I made a mistake? Have I made a mistake? Have I made a mistake? That kind of a mentality. Always finding out, maybe a mistake I have done. Maybe a mistake I have done a mistake. Something like that. So you are not maintaining the proper balance in the mind. Actually, the observances are there for you to help, not to doubt. But you have a lot of doubts, so that you are not getting the real benefit. So the proper balance only happens when you are able to observe a certain situation by maintaining certain distance. So that comes through the practice actually. That comes through the Satipatthana practice. How you are able to maintain particular incident as it is without interrupting it, without interfering it, and observing it thoroughly, observing it as someone else's things. Say you are observing rising, you are observing falling. It is not that you do rising, you do falling, rather you allow it to manifest naturally, and you become a mere observer, a silent, unbiased observer, something like that. So that practice actually helps throughout. Yes, anything please?
The mic is got muted, I think.
One moment. Hope now you can hear us.
Yes, Bhante, now we can hear.
Okay. So what we were discussing is that even the good things, the correct things, sometimes people can take so seriously so that they are not having the mental balance. So even the sila, even the morality, what we are talking in the Buddhist side, that also we can sometimes grasp too strongly. That can make oneself stressful, burdened, tensed. And the proper balance only happens when one is fairly there for a long time and a certain amount of defilements are abandoned and the personality view is abandoned. So likewise, then only you find the proper balance. Particularly mentioned when one becomes a sotapanna, the stream winner. So therefore, the point to understand is that a certain amount of observances, rituals, morality is necessary, and that also has to be properly maintained, and their benefit has to be taken, so that our defilements are slowly weakened and the good side, good qualities, necessary qualities are improved. And then we need to learn something. With this teaching, we need to learn, of course. And then we need to have some amount of view, that is the Sammaditthi, where first actually we are establishing ourselves in the Kammasakata Sammaditthi, so we are becoming a good person first of all, isn't it? So you are not practicing bad things, you are not doing sexual misconduct, you are not doing stealing, you are not doing killing and all that, and you recognize, okay, this is the correct thing to do. So you abandon all unwholesome activities and you are trying to establish yourself in the wholesome side. So that becomes your view. So certain amount of view is necessary at the beginning. Then once you are developing the good qualities to a higher level, then you understand, okay, I don't need any grasping at all. I don't want to grasp anything at all. Now slowly the mind become more clear, more cleansed, free from defilements, more lighter. Clarity is there in the mind. So there no view is there now. Sammaditthi in that sense is no view, almost like. So Sammaditthi in the supramundane level is where your mind holds nothing, basically. So it's a kind of we are making use of certain things and ultimately even we are abandoning that, something like that. Yeah. Okay, Kumara, do you have any questions from your side?
Bhante, nothing from this side.
Okay. Actually, we are discussing some suttas available in the Parayana Vagga. Those are somewhat deep and directly they are talking about the practice, and some deep teachings are there, so immediately we can't connect it to some basic stuff, but sometime we can get the understanding how we need to align our practice according to these teachings. Yeah.
Excuse me, Swaminatha. I noticed that in this sutta or in these verses that we're talking about, he's asking Nanda is asking the questions about whether observances and knowledge and views are going to, as practiced by, say, Bhavari, the teacher, whether these observances, views, and knowledge, whether they are cleansing one of defilement. So it just was interesting to me that all the seems as though there was an agreement about what the defilements were, basically greed, hate, and delusion, maybe by all these teachers of India, but the Buddha is clarifying, what does it take to actually cut off all the defilements.
Mm-hmm. So what's the methodology?
Yes, it was just interesting to me that they all are in agreement about what the defilements are, but that nobody quite
understood
knows
the correct method.
how to get, and the Buddha is, Buddha is saying, here's how, he's giving the teachings of how to do it, how to get rid of the defilements, because the other teachers are saying that we're pure.
Exactly.
But the Buddha is saying, no, you have to do, maybe you are, but you have to actually let go of grasping and go beyond, reach what is reaching Nibbana.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Nibbana was also a terminology that was used among these teachers, and they maybe had a disagreement about what Nibbana is.
Exactly.
So just interesting that there's this disagreement, and the Buddha is establishing, trying to establish what the actual method to go beyond all defilements is.
Correct. Okay, I think we can wind up the session then. So
Bhante?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, though it is, I would just wanted to comment though it is a very difficult and deep thing, your elaboration and connecting with the other suttas make us to understand that one actually. That's what I want to make comment on that.
Yeah.
And meantime, Geshan also raised his hand to make a question, I think.
Okay then.
Yeah. Geshan, you can talk now.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate giving the opportunity. And I have a quick question. I just want to echo the same comment that was made just now, because I think you basically bring such an eloquence for this and richness. So I really appreciate for that, for this Dhamma teaching. My question around this is the crossover birth and death. The way that I understand, it's not just Sovan, Sakradagami, Anagami. It has to be a Rahat. Is that accurate, Swamin Wahansa?
Yeah, we can say so, because that is what the theme of this whole Parayana Vagga and the whole Sutta Nipata. Buddha don't talk much about the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, but he emphasizes the Arahantship. Complete abandonment of all the defilements, complete abandonment of all the influxes, Kinasava. So that's why you may come across the terms Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami when you come to the Majjhima Nikaya. But the Sutta Nipata basically talks about Anya. Anya means the Arahantship, or directly of the Kinasava, where all the influxes are abandoned. So the people who encountered the teaching during the Buddha's early stages are fairly intelligent people, and they were able to understand that with some concise teaching, and they were capable of understanding that, and they were able to penetrate it, and they ultimately become maybe Arahants. So that's why the Sutta Nipata is talking much about such kind of a teaching, very direct, and those people are with a lot of potential. Now, say for example, the Bahya. So that's also in the not that's in Bahya. That is in the Udana. So this say even these people. Now they are now, even last time we discussed about another sutta, the Upasivamanam Pucca. So Buddha directly talks about the Akinchanyayatana. He don't talk even about the previous jhana. He directly touches the Akinchanyayatana and talks, give the explanation. So likewise, these people are fairly skillful people, and they already have practiced. Now it's Buddha for the Buddha, it is quite easy for them to put to the correct track. Since they have already practiced to some extent, it is easy for the Buddha. And therefore the teaching also given to the ultimate part, that is the attaining Arahantship.
Yes, thank you so much, Bhante. So I hope you can continue this, and may you have the blessing and all the successes to teach this type of Dharma with your disciples as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thiruvaan Saranai.
yeah, Thero Saranai. So I now cordially invite Venerable Dhamma Vijita to conduct the sharing of merits.
Thank you, Swaminatha, for your teaching today. And we'd like to give these merits to all our departed relatives or other beings that may need merits. And we'll recite the traditional Pali verses.